So now we will talk about Treasury and Risk Management module solely. What is coming under Treasury and Risk module, how it is integrated with different third parties. So agenda will be to cover the end-to-end Treasury and Risk Management solution, SAP, including integration to other modules. So we will understand how Treasury is integrated with SAP FI, how the accounting happens, how the entire process happens from the deal creation till the payment file generation. So we are going to talk about that, and we are going to see the configuration with respect to all instruments that covers money market, which is all debt and investment related instruments. We will cover foreign exchange, we will cover securities, and we will cover the trade finance instruments. Now, when we talk about end-to-end treasury and risk management solution map, all these things are covered in the treasury and risk management, which covers payments and bank communications. We have cash and liquidity, which we have already covered from the module 2. There are certain aspects which you still need to cover, which was pending with the first trainer, that we will go see at the end what is there and what's not. Then comes debt and investment management and financial risk management. In debt and investment management, we will understand the roles of different front office, mid office, back office, and the accounting team, how they are doing, what they are doing, and with respect to how the process happens into SAP Treasury from the functional end. And with financial risk management, we are going to evaluate different sorts of risk, which is market risk, credit risk, and another different types of risk that are associated with any type of instruments. Coming to SAP Treasury architecture, this is a broad diagram which shows you the SAP Treasury solutions integration with different parties. One is with banks, the other parties are the third parties, which could be, your trading platforms, your trade repositories like FXall, Bloomberg, 360 Reuters, trade repositories like DTCC. All those are integrated with your SAP Treasury, and these integrations happens at different level. And for that, we usually create different interfaces with which we incoming and we treat incoming and outgoing data within Treasury. Then the same case for the banks, the payment files and the payment confirmations that is received from the bank's end, we all receive it through the integration with SAP with the banks. There is an interface created based on different intermediaries. We are going to send or receive the data from banks. Coming to the big picture here, you can see what are the different type of risk analyzers, what is in hedge management. We will discuss about exposures, and we will talk about money market, forex, debt, securities, trade finance, all those instruments. Majorly, the functioning of end-to-end functioning of all the instruments work in a very similar manner. So any money market related instrument will follow the same configuration and same process cycle. With forex, we will see that the configuration steps remain same and the screen of the deal creation changes. We will go through each instrument and see the differences. But before that, what we are going to talk about is the first and the major master data that we have not created yet. One is the bank master data, and the second is counterparty, business partner master data. What is a business partner? So a business partner in SAP is nothing but party that you are dealing with. Any party, which is mostly your banks in terms of treasury, like Citibank, JPMC, etc., etc. These banks which you are going to trade with in future are called business partners. So in FICO, you must have understood that business partners are created at a general data level. They are your nothing but, with we have the concept of a business partner, which can be extended as your customer, your vendor. So in general, we create a business partner. Earlier in ECC, what we used to do is we used to create a customer master data. We used to create a separately vendor master data. Or when we have to treat a customer as a vendor, we have to extend that settings like that. But now with S4 HANA and the upgrades, we are able to create a single business partner master data, which can be extended as a customer, as a vendor, as a financial institution, as different roles. So in treasury, specifically for main treasury operations, the major role that we are going to use is as a counterparty role. the counterparty role will control everything in a business partner master data. So I will just directly go. I will take one of the business partners which are already created as in the general data. Let's pick up that business partner. And then we will see how we create it in the counterparty role, what all configurations we have to do, what all things are important in that. So let's take counterparty, which is using US currency. Let's take EUR or USD currency so that we can have multiple trading options. So we can take Atlanta. We can take this counterparty, this business partner. So whenever we come to the business partner, we will enter into this screen. I hope my screen is visible so that.
Yes, visible, yes. Can you continue, please?
Yes. So this is the business partner general master data, which we have already created for our business partner, which has been already created from the FI perspective. This has all the address view details, all the payment transaction details related to, what will be the bank account with respect to this particular business partner. Now, when we have to extend this business partner to our counterparty role, this is the icon which we will have to click on. This is the display or edit option, which was already in the edit mode, but I clicked it and I changed it to display mode. Then further, I will go to counterparty option here and I will extend this master data to my counterparty role. In the counterparty role, the major settings that we are going to do will be happening in the company code data. That means we have to extend this counterparty to a particular company code, which is already extended 1710. This is the company code, and we can add on another company codes also. So let's add on few more company codes. Like maybe I can add this company code, adopt it, and save it. So like that, you can choose the company code. For this, for now, we are going to adopt 1710 as our company code. Now, the important settings, payment details. So here we need to assign the respective payment details for, from the payment details from with respect to our house bank, our account ID, from which we are going to pay in different currencies. So for this perspective, we will take a tried and tested data. So let me see for which counterparty we are using usually, and we will follow the same, the payment details. So you can ignore what I'm doing now.
Just 1 minute, please. Can I go for bathroom first?
Yes,
1
yes,
minute, okay?
yes.
1 second, just thank you. Can we continue, please?
Yeah, sure. Let me go inside the BP again. Now, like I said, the company code data. So the important aspect in any of the counterparty will be created under the company code data. We have to adopt the company code. Until and unless you adopt this company code here, you will not be able to create the deals for that company code. You will not be able to transact with these company codes. So here, what you have to maintain is you have to maintain the payment details. So we are going to maintain our payment details, our house bank account ID details here, and our payment method. With respect to whatever currency we are going to trade in, we have to provide the details of our house bank and account ID from which the transaction will happen, inflow or outflow. So we have these payment details, which is tried and tested. So we are going to maintain for one of the currencies, which is EUR and for USD. So we have to maintain both the legs of the currency. So one is the inside leg and one is the outgoing leg. So EURI means EUR incoming. For incoming side, we have to maintain the payment details. For EUR, similarly, we have to maintain the payment details for outgoing side, which is outgoing. For USD, we have to maintain the payment details for incoming and outgoing both. So I'm going to maintain these payment details. USD. Oh. Now I will choose the house bank. So they have tested with the USBK1. We will choose the house bank from the list. You can directly go to the list here and you will be able to find the list of house banks. So we will be using USBK1. So this setting should be completed in your FBZP that these particular house bank and account ID should be permitted for respective payment methods you are going to use. So that settings from the FI perspective should be completed from your respective configuration aspect. If they are not permitted, you will face an error while payment file generation or at the time of payments. So we are going to make sure that these settings are complete. Okay. Now, once I have maintained these details of the account ID and house bank, I have to give my payer and payee. If in case we are on the outgoing side, we have to provide the payer and pay in cases where you are going to add, like someone is paying on behalf of this particular company code, or someone is transacting. Either if you want, you can assign this same BP as your pay. But if you want someone else to pay on behalf of you, you can add that particular business partner here as a pay. So that is what we are defining in here. Now here you are going to define the partner bank. So these are the partner bank details. You can check whatever partner banks are available for us. We can define those as partner banks. So these configuration you are very much aware of. Now we are going to see the payment method. This is for incoming. This is for I is for, let's see what is the payment method. This is, I think, treasury payments, some check transfer or bank transfer. This is for European payments we are using. So this is I, and we are going to use T for USD currency payment method T. So I will also show you where the settings, if we get any error, we will see where the settings needs to be updated. It does not exist in USAC2. Why? Okay. USBK. I think the configuration is not completed for this. Let's go in here. We will see for this particular company code, we will see what bank accounts are maintained. I think USBK2, USAC2 is not there. Okay, my bad. This is completed. Perfect. I have by mistakenly entered it. So in the FDZP, you can check it here that if that combination is maintained or not. If this particular combination does not exist, system will throw you an error. Now I'm going to save my details here, and this will save it. Now, once in payment details, invalid payment transaction, let me go in here, partner bank details. Let's assign this. A partner bank is defined separately. For this, let's use this partner bank. Now, saving it. Once we save these details, still there will be another configuration to auto-populate these details in your master data or in your counterparty. If you do not auto-populate these details to your counterparty, you will not assign it to your counterparty. When you try to create any deal for a counterparty, you will not be able to see the details. So I will show you how to automatically populate it. But before that, I want to show you the configuration here, how you can import these payment details directly to your respective counterparties. Here you assign for each product type, you get an option that you want to auto-populate a detail related to this currency, and payment details should be auto-populated. So if I go to money market, and if I'm going to create a product type or any product type related to my money market instrument, let's say interest rate instrument, which is already there, 51A, which is a standard instrument provided. So you have to go drill down to the level of transaction type. We will create all these things later, but I'm showing you how to assign these payment details. So what you have to do, you have to click in here, then you have to click on this. This is for your incoming side. Again, you have to click in here. This is for your outgoing side. So this is how your details are getting assigned here. Now, what you have to do for borrowing, I just want to assign this EUR for investments. Now I have to assign USD for borrowing. So what I will do is I will go again here, and I will go again in the interest rate instrument. I will go to fixed term deposit, and in the borrowing, I want to assign incoming side and outgoing side. So it is automatically assigned in here, and I am going to save this. I will show you one example while we are deal creating, that how if we do not do this configuration, no matter if you create it here, but if you do not assign it, it will not auto-populate. You have to manually enter these details.
Hey, you know, ZaranTech now offers SAP corporate training. That's right. Train your workforce in SAP with our comprehensive program. We offer customized courses, certified trainers, and hands-on labs for both individuals and businesses. Our standout features: bespoke training, fully configured servers for practice, in-house materials, and a dedicated LMS. Plus, Get session recordings and 24/7 support. From functional to technical modules, we have got it all. Choose ZaranTech for SAP training and watch your team excel. Learn, upskill, succeed with ZaranTech.
So this is one of the major configuration that you have to do in here. Rest this payment request, individual payment request, you can control at BP level. If you want to control it here, you can control it here also. And if you want to control at the deal creation level, you can control this at deal creation level. We mostly control the settings at deal creation level. Next important aspect of the master data is authorizations. Until and unless for this particular business partner in the counterparty role, if you have not provided the authorization to create whatever instrument you have configured, you have to come here and individually assign the authorization at this level. If you do not assign the authorization, if you do not click on this tick mark, you will not be able to create the deal. You will be getting an error like this particular counterparty is not authorized for this particular product type, transaction type combination. So you have to do this authorization and save it. Once you do this authorization, system will not throw an error. This is the major configuration in the beginning, which should be in place before you enter any deal creation, before you create any deals in the system. I hope this is clear. Do you have any questions related to this basic configuration, which I just showed you?
No, it's clear for me. Thank you.
Perfect. So, yeah. So, this is all that you need in the beginning. Rest, as and when things will come, we will change our counterparty accordingly. Like if we are dealing with Forex, we will see how correspondence works. If we are dealing with any flows that we want to derive, like tax or anything, we will work on derived flows, all those things. But this is something which should be pretty much available and clear to you. Now, coming to other roles of business partner. Only counterparty role will not be sufficient for you when we talk about securities module. So when we talk about securities module, you need your counterparty to be extended to two more different roles. That depends if you're using the same counterparty as your issuer and depository. So these are another two roles which you need your counterparty to be created in, or your another business partner to be created in. So an issuer and a depository role are other two roles which are important from your treasury aspect. Now, how you are going to create that? Let's go back, go to this BP again and see. This is our BP. What was our BP? Okay. Now, what we have to do is we have to extend this to the depository role and the issuer role. Looks like this counterparty is, if we say here depository bank, we need to provide this counterparty to the depository role. What we will do is we will just extend it here, like clicking on this, and just there is no additional settings required. You can just press enter and you can just save this transaction. I think I have taken some other BP which we were doing. I did not take that one. So that is why this is already extended to your depository role. Similarly, what you have to do is you can just go back and you can click here, come back here. Let me take that BP which I was working on. Yes.
I think the depository rule, it will be using the security.
Security. Yes. Yes. So only for securities, you will be using the depository and issuer role. Counterparty role is used across all modules, all instruments. But for securities, you would need your counterparty to be created in another two roles, which is your issuer and depository role. So from here, I will extend my counterparty in the issuer role here. I will select the issuer. I will save it. Now this is extended to issuer role as well. Then I will do the same thing and I will extend it to the depository role. So this is the major setting. We will see what happens further, why do we need it, and all those things we are going to see when we are configuring the instrument. But this we should know from the beginning that our business partner is an entity which needs to be created in the counterparty role for all treasury instruments and in the depository and issuer role specifically for securities like bonds, fixed term bonds, variable bonds, corporate bonds, etc., senior notes, all those things come under securities. So we need a depository bank and an issuer bank. So that's why we have extended our counterparty in those two roles. I hope that's clear to you.
Yeah, that's clear. Thank you.
Perfect. Now we will go ahead with our configuration into Treasury. So now we are going to start with the Treasury and Risk Management basic configuration. So when we talk about configuration related to Treasury and Risk Management, there are certain things which SAP provides us standard. Okay. Now we will go to Transaction Manager. The Transaction Manager is another major configuration which is required for. So now the system has nothing. You can say whatever we are going to create, we are going to create another one. We are not going to use SAP standard transactions. We are going to create our own transactions, own money market, forex, whatever. We are going to create our own names and own transactions. So we will work like that. Now in the organization, you define the company code, additional data. Here you will define all the details related to your company code, like you are working on the 1710 company code. You need to make sure all the details are available. We have a fiscal year variant. This we do in FICO. You have a Swift big code for the correspondences, different type of inbound and outbound correspondences that we have. Then we have exchange rates in place. This setting should be complete. We don't have to do anything here. We just need to make sure everything is complete. Now, define portfolio. What is a portfolio? A portfolio is as general whenever we do trading, similar way we use the term portfolio. It is nothing but an organizational element to group various financial transactions for reporting purposes. Similarly, like if you have a borrowing portfolio, in that you can create two types of borrowing, long-term borrowing and short-term borrowing, and you can combine that in one portfolio together. It can be used with different purposes in Treasury, SAP Treasury. You can use this to group these under one. You can group multiple types of borrowing under one roof. Like if you have short-term borrowing, if you have a mid-term borrowing, if you have a long-term borrowing, you can create three different portfolios. And with three different portfolios, you can see three different reporting aspects. So we can create the portfolios like that. I'm going to create portfolios for our company codes, which is basically 1710. Let's create LTD, which is nothing but our long-term debt. We'll be using this portfolio. Long-term debt comprises of more than 1 year. STD is short-term debt. We will be using for less than 1 year. So this is I'm going to create. What you can do is you can create your portfolio like 3 months, 6 months debt. For foreign exchange, you can create your portfolio like if you are having different types of foreign exchange swaps, the other type of swaps, different types of swaps. So you can create as many as portfolios, as many as reporting aspect you want to do. You can create like that. I can create as many portfolios as per my reporting requirements. Then comes traders. What is a trader? A trader is nothing but authorization to a particular user to act as a trader in your SAP module while creating a deal. So you are creating the traders here. You create a new entry and you can create a trader for your respective company code who would be trading your different within the different instruments who would be trading in. Once we have defined the trader, we can assign the traders to our respective user IDs. This is the user ID which we are using. This is the initial user ID. I can assign my trader role to this particular user ID, what I have here, which is this. So I can use that. Now, after this is the main setting that we do in here. We come to transaction management. Once we do the, one second. Yeah, once we come to transaction management, there are different configurations here which are already standardly available for us, which is define field selection. We can define the different types of fields. We can control it from here. We can see which type of field will be suppressed, which for which instrument. So all the product types that you are going to create will be visible here. And then individually, what you can do is you can go and see what are the transaction type associated with this product type. Then you can see the activity categories for respective transaction type. What you can define these activity categories and you can define the field selection from here. What type of field selection you want? Like, do you want it to be in contract or contract settlement, or do you want to use this is a process, how you want your deal to perform. One should be in contract status, then in contract settlement status. Then this is the field selection that you are going to do in here. Then we will go to assignment of functions. They have not defined any entries in the assignment of functions. Here also, basically when you go, you can define one activity category like for contract or contract settlement I can take. Here I can choose the field selection and we can see the field selection entries available here. That is, this is BD contract settlement. So you can use that field selection from here. We will understand what is there in this further. This is just to control how your product type or instrument is going to behave. Now define number ranges for linking transactions. Nothing but we are just going to define a number range here for a respective reference category. This is not the product type number range, so we can ignore this. This is not your product type number ranges. Okay. Now coming to your major configuration that we are going to do under transaction manager is this. These are your instruments available in here. Now we are going to work on instruments. This is the only setting that you need in initial, and going further you will need more settings. We will see how those settings are done. The major things in a particular instrument are six major things, I should in short say. One is a product type. Just to give you what is a product type. A product type is nothing but what type of product you are using. Is it loan? Is it a investment? Is it a fixed term deposit? Is it a security? Is it a bond? Is it a XYZ? Is it a forward spot? Whatever. What is your product type? So we are going to define a product type. The important thing in a product type, SAP standard provides these 55 series and 66 series to us. The important aspect that we need to choose while creating a product type, what controls a product type, is the product category. So when we see here, I am creating an interest rate instrument, which is TLO. We will keep a note of all these things so that we don't get confused, which is our product type. This is TLO, which we are going to create. The text will be term loan. What will be the product category? It is an interest rate instrument. We have these product categories available for us. We can choose these product categories accordingly. From different instrument perspective, in different product perspective, we will be choosing our product category. The product category will control how our instrument is going to behave. So we are going to give a short text here. We can choose the interest calculation method. The interest calculation method says the days on our actual days of the year. So actual days by divide by 360. You can say actual by 365. There are multiple type of interest calculation method you can see here, which you can use according to different scenarios, business scenarios. Here we don't want to generate zero flows for fixed interest rate. We do not want to generate any flows. We are going to leave this blank for now. This is a transportable item. This is a transactional data which we are going to use or transport. We are going to create in our dev system and move across using our transports across quality and production systems. So we have created a product type here. This is our product type. Whenever you go to position, you will be able to see these product types. Second aspect of important aspect is your transaction type. Now, what is your transaction type? You have created a product type saying that this is a loan, this is an investment. But what is a transaction type? Transaction type are the two legs of the transaction. What are the two legs? The plus and the minus leg, the purchase and the sale leg, the incoming and the outgoing leg. Just to tell, we can say that term loan is usually, if we are the counterparty who is only doing borrowing, we will create only one leg, which is a borrowing leg, which will be, our leg that, takes money. If we are a fixed term deposit, if we are doing a fixed term deposit and we are dealing with a bank, we will always be on the side of investing that amount, that is giving that amount outside and paying it to the bank. So we can define one leg for that. But let's define that. Before that, we need to define a number range. What is the use of this particular number range? This number range will control whenever you are generating a product deal, this will be controlled from here. You will be, whenever you are using a combination of TLO and the deal, whatever we are going to create, this number range will be used. So we are not going to create a new one. We can use this one. Two types of number ranges can be used. I will just give you a small business scenario here. Sometimes we have this facility when business wants to use this external number range. What are those cases? We can see that cases during facility. So when we have an arrangement with any banks to provide a certain money, that facility is for a very long time. In those cases, usually the business wants to have an external number range assignment. But for any other instrument, you will create an internal number range assignment. Now we are going to create the transaction type, the two legs of our transactions. So what we can go is, what is the product type? We have to remember that we have created a product type. I am giving TLO so that term loan. It can be easily defined. Now what you can do is you can create BO and borrowing. You can create another leg as investing also, but we are not going to create so that we can avoid confusion, because we are dealing with counterparty banks and we are not going to take loan. They are not going to take a loan from our side. Okay. So here, whenever we talk about borrowing, we will assign the borrowing. This is the product category which we are using. So if you see here, this is 550 borrowing. Now, if I go back and open another screen and show you, everything is linked. This is how your product type is also being linked here. So your product category comes in front of the, while assigning your transaction type. So here, product type, define product types. If we go and see what is the product category we are using for TLO, you will be able to see this is TLO. This is the product category we are using. And if you see here, while we choose our transaction category, we are choosing the transaction category for 550, which is borrowing. Okay.
What sets ZaranTech apart in SAP corporate training? It's our unique blend of expertise and innovation. We offer customized courses tailored to each client's needs, ensuring relevant, targeted learning. Our vast trainer database brings you wisdom from the best in the field. Need resources? Access our extensive training material repository anytime. We are all about measurable results, providing detailed student metrics to track progress. And we don't just teach, we build community. Join our thriving social media network, connecting learners beyond boundaries. With ZaranTech, you are not just training, you are transforming your SAP expertise.
This is how we choose it. This is where you assign the number range. We have not created any, so we will use the existing number range. What is the processing category? Processing category controls how we are going to stepwise do our transaction. So for stepwise doing our transaction, what would we need? So here, do we need settlement or do we need without settlement? So with settlement is nothing but controlling your transactions or contracts by having double check. So if you do it without settlement, then you will be able to do the accounting without even settling your deal. But we never go ahead with that approach because we need to have a check over initial deal creation step. We do not want to automatically post and release. We do not want to automatic settlement for counter confirmation, because here we are not counter confirming. Okay. Here limit group. This limit controls the limit, the amount of money you can invest at one point of time. So here you can choose debt and investment. This limit group can be configured. We will talk about it later. Now here, this is all for commercial paper, deposit at notice and all those. This we are not going to do for this particular transaction type. This is saved. Now, when we go back, any questions in here? Sorry, I'm going in continuation.
No, it's clear. Yes, thank you.
Perfect. Now we are going to create another important aspect for this, which is flow type. What are flow types? Flow types are, as the name says, treasury flow types are nothing but different type of cash inflows and outflows that we are going to have in this particular transaction. Majorly, we will create 4 to 5 different flows which are important for this aspect. One flow is principal increase. Since we are borrowing the money, we are going to use the flow type principal increase. You can create a new entry or you can directly copy it. I will create a new entry at first for all the things. Later we can go and copy. We are going to create a principal increase flow type. What is a principal increase flow type? That means the money that we are borrowing, it is increasing our value that we hold, increasing our cash balance. So that is why this is a principal increase. I have chosen TI00 so that you can easily understand that TI is nothing but principal increase. This is a structure characteristic because this is related to our actual main principal flow. This is going to control the category. Flow category is very important. This is going to control your flow type. Here you will assign the flow category, which is going to control how this flow performs. Very important configuration, very important configuration. All the errors related to accounting, related to valuation, sometimes related to will be coming with flow types and update types. Is this flow relevant to posting? Do we want to post this flow? Yes, we want to post this flow. Is this flow relevant to position? Yes, it is relevant to position because this is our main flow. This is our main borrowing that we are doing. That is why it is relevant to position. Rest, is this relevant to valuation? You can mark it as relevant to valuation or you can not as of now. Relevant to P&L? No, this is not relevant to P&L. Relevant for accrual and deferral? No, we do not want to accrue or defer because this is our main flow. Now, payment request, yes. What would be our payment request? Basically, we will generate for both outgoing and incoming. But in this case, we are going to have an incoming request because in case of borrowing, we have to generate an incoming. But when we are going to repay this money, it will be an outgoing payment. So we are going to do the payment. That is why it is an outgoing payment request. So here we will choose effective interest calculation. Now, any questions in this 6 segments that we are using? Any questions here?
No, it's a clear also for me. Thank you.
Perfect. Now, similarly, I will create few more flows. I will tell you the difference. Before that, I want to check one thing. I have assigned the transaction category or not. Yes, excuse me. Other flows that we are going to create is principal decrease. Similarly, principal decrease, we are not going to create for this because any which ways we are going to repay it. So we will be using final repayment. So let's create final repayment, which is FR00, final repayment. Classification, this is also related to structure only. This flow category will be repayment. So we will choose the flow category 12. This is relevant to posting. This is relevant to position. Nothing else. You can choose the payment request and you can just save it. Now, important flow that we are going to create is another one, which can be your installment repayment. Same thing. We can just change the name here. Configuration remains same. Other thing remains same. You can just put installment thing. Now, next one, what we are going to do is save it. We are going to create another flow, which is very important, is interest. Nominal interest flow. This is one of the important for borrowing and your fixed deposit. Sorry, my keyboard is nominal interest. Now, flow type. One important thing I will tell you later, interest can be both incoming and outgoing. So do we need to create 2 flow types? Can we control it at this level, like IN, interest incoming and interest outgoing? Yes, we can, but we will not do it. We can control the incoming and outgoing direction at update type level. That there, we can control it from here also, but we usually do it at the update type level. We will choose the flow category as nominal interest. This is relevant to posting. This is relevant to position. This is relevant to P&L. We can evaluate it if we want, but we are not going to mark. This will not be relevant for accrual and deferral. The accrual and deferral workflow can be very relevant to accrual and deferral. We can mark any expense, any income as relevant for accruals and deferrals. So here you can mark both outgoing and incoming. For this case, since you are borrowing the money, it will be an outgoing payment for interest that you are going to do because you have borrowed the money. We have created all flow types. This is our flow types that we have created. 4 flow types. We can just take a snap of it so that next time I will create a document for this and we can remember what we have created. Now, the next thing, we have created a flow type, but nowhere we have linked it to a product type or transaction type, how will the system know which flow to pick in what case in this product type? I don't see any product type, transaction type settings here. So that is the reason we will assign it to our transaction type, product type combination now. So we will go to new entries. You will put your product type here, TLO. Your transaction type is borrowing. You will assign all these flow types available here in the SNP. So first is FR00. Then you are going to assign another product type, which is another flow type, which is IR00, right? TLO, borrowing. And then you are going to assign installment repayment, IR00. Then we have interest and we have principal increase. We are going to assign these two. We can just copy this, change the flow type here, which is IN00 and EI00, and save it. Now this link is created. So at every time, we are not going to link it to a product type. We are going to link it to a combination of product and transaction type. Okay. Now, the next important aspect, we have discussed three important aspects already. One is product type, one is transaction type, one is flow type. The most important configuration aspect which controls our linkage to accounting, which is update type. Now we are going to configure our update types. Update types are nothing but you are creating the update type as two directional incoming and outgoing set of flow type. Each flow type can have two update types. How? So like flow type principal increase can have two directions. So you can have two update types for it. One is incoming side, one is outgoing side, wherever relevant. We are not going to use everywhere two directions, but in general, I'm telling that you can create two aspects. So now we are going to create our update types. So we have four flow types, correct? In these four flow types, one flow which we want both direction, incoming and outgoing. This is nominal interest. For this flow, we will have two update types. Rest for all, we will only have one update type. So we will name our naming convention will start from for our update type related to money market. Means money market. First update type is PI00. That is money market principal increase. This will be restricted to all money market instruments. This is money market principal increase. Then we have MMFR00, which is our final repayment. Then you have MMIR00, which is your installment repayment. Then you have your MMIN00. But here we have to create two sides. Interest incoming, interest outgoing. For borrowing, definitely we will have only one, which is outgoing side. But for all money market instruments, we are going to use the same update type. So that is why at this level itself, we are going to differentiate it by a sign. MMIN00 plus MMIN00 minus. This is for interest paid and this is for interest received. So whenever we are going to create a money market investment, we can use the same update types. We do not have to repeatedly create multiple. Is it clear to you, the update type configuration?
Yeah, this is clear also. Thank you.
Perfect. Now we will go ahead and we will assign the flow types to our update types. Each flow type that we have created, now you will see here, condition type is nothing but a money market. For money market, we are creating. Our first flow type is FR00. Let's take it FR00 here. We will see what is the direction. Final repayment direction is inflow or outflow in this case. It is outflow. We are going to repay. Now here also what you have to do is you should have created an inflow and outflow both technically, because in investments, our final repayment will be inflow also, correct? In future. Currently, we did not think in that way. But if we think our final repayment can be inflow also whenever we are doing an investment. So we will create this as an inflow item also. Currently, this is outflow. We will update our outflow, which is MMFR00. Then again, money market, which is installment repayment. This should also be created as inflow item in the update type. We haven't created it because we did not. We can do it later when we are doing investments. Now we have PI00. This is only one direction, which is inflow, because we are borrowing. PI00. Now we have money market interest, which is nominal interest. It will be both inflow and outflow. So MMIN00 plus for inflow and MMIN00 minus for outflow. Okay, I am going to save this. If you are not updating your update types properly, I remember my update types, but you can choose it from here. Always make sure you prepare an Excel of whatever items you are creating so that you remember. I remember these names because I have given the naming conventions so long. I have been using in this my training multiple times. That is, I am using these update types names. So, but please make sure you name it, make an Excel so that you remember. For each of the item, other than the principal flows, have two direction. Will have two direction in future. Before that, let me go here. I have missed one configuration. Once you have created the update type, you have to assign the update type to the usages. What is a usage? You have to assign all the update type to your transaction manager. So here you will assign all the update types to transaction manager, transaction management. MMFR00, transaction management, MMIN00 plus all the flow update types that you're creating, you have to assign that MMIN00 minus transaction management MMIR00. This to sign. Now, my update types are linked to my flow types. My flow types are linked already to my product type, transaction type. That is how the link is created. This is the link. We have already assigned the flow types to update types. Now, the last and the most, this is not the most important. Update type is the most important configuration, but condition types. What is a condition type? A condition type in SAP is nothing but a setting which will control like whatever is the time and amount structure of different financial transactions. We will control it through your condition type. In SAP, we create the condition types and this automatically generate your flows based on whatever classification or condition category you are giving. So we create condition types and we will auto derive a flow type within that condition type. So if I define a condition type here, one important thing, you cannot define a condition type alphanumeric. Any configuration that we have done till now can be defined in alphanumeric, but condition type has to be defined only numeric. Okay, so if you see, all the items are numeric till here. We need to create condition type for each flow type. So can you see generated flow type option here? Based on whatever condition type you give. Perfect. So I hope whatever we did is clear for you.
Yeah, that's clear, yes.
Okay, can you do me a favor as a practice item? Can you do the same activity for another product type in the
Yes,
same
sure.
configuration for fixed term deposits? Okay.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.